Well, hello. Sorry for the delay in this video. I had a little accident, cracked a couple of ribs, threw my back out, but I did manage to survive. Anyway, first thing I want to do is give kudos to the people who have been promoting the Ball Earth. Yeah, really. Yes, really. I have never seen such a level of predictive programming in my life. I don't believe there is any subject on the planet that you can predict the exact same response virtually through everybody, young, old, male, female, Democrat, Republican, no matter what. I honestly believe that you could go to an abortion clinic where they're protesting on each side of the street. One side for pro-choice, the other hollering baby killer, marching around with their signs and yelling at each other. And I could take a sign that said, "The earth is flat, yes, really," and both sides would unite and take their signs and beat me to death with them. That's how perfect a storm of brainwashing this Ball Earth thing is. Bravo. Bravo. Your days are numbered, but bravo. I mentioned in my last video that I really didn't think there's such thing as gravity. And for those of you who thinks that's crazy, I understand. And I'm going to give the scientific community a chance to redeem themselves on gravity. Einstein's theory is crap. I already proved that. Newton's theory, even he didn't believe it. They have no idea what this gravity thing is. And if you think that I'm wrong, well, consider this. We've got a pretty good bead on what light is. We can create artificial light. We can magnify it. Years ago, I saw a thing where they set up reflectors in a concave mirror and put it through a magnifying glass and burn holes in steel with sunlight. We've got laser beams. We've got, we can do just about anything that you can imagine with light. Fiber optics, we can shoot it all the way across the ocean through tiny little fibers of optical glass and whatnot. Sound, we can create artificial sounds. We can amplify it. We can echo it. We can do all kinds of stuff with even sound weapons. But gravity, nothing. So, scientific community, you want to make me believe that there is such a thing as gravity instead of just density and buoyancy, which is what we actually measure. Then seal you off a room about stretch you out about a 30 feet of a curved surface. Plug in your Graviton 2000 gravity magnifying producing machine, whatever it is, and bend me some water, baby. Bend me some water. And on each side of that water, set up some little statues over here that's below the curve of the water, and bend me some light too while you're at it, so that I can see through that dome that you've created, like you say is happening out here in the real world. And then when you get done bending light and water and curving all that stuff without making an upside down mirage, go ahead and set you a couple of white mice on each end and pull a vacuum on the room and see if they live, because you're also telling me that gravity is holding the atmosphere to the earth against an absolute vacuum. And if you can do that, I will be sold on gravity. And until you do, kiss my butt. I don't believe a word of it. It's crap. Okay, another thing that I mentioned was that I don't believe that there is anything really like outer space. I didn't mention a dome. I'll get to that later. Some agree, some disagree in the flat earth community. Right now, um, let's concentrate on why I don't believe we have anything in space, not even in low Earth orbit. Now, one of my earlier videos, I did say that when showing that NASA's full of crap, that they had leaked a video to a filmmaker showing them in Apollo 17, the very last Apollo mission, was the very first supposed shot of the Earth, full-blown from space. You know, all the other missions from 11 through 16, we didn't even think about snapping a picture of the Earth. The very last one they do. And the astronauts appearing to be in low Earth orbit in this little video were being coached and guided to fake this picture of Earth either through a window or a transparency or whatever. And what I believe this is, in reality, is that NASA knew that the Apollo missions would eventually, someday, get figured out. And they made this video and released it to a person who was debunking the Apollo missions. I think they released this video to separate going to the moon from actually just being in space, in low Earth orbit. And here's how that works, you know. You get the people debunking the Apollo missions to say, oh, they were in low Earth orbit. You know, easy to do. Why did they need that for this picture that they painted anyway of Earth? Why did they need that crap? They didn't need that crap. All they needed was to save face so that once Apollo was figured out, the rest of the space program could go along doing their normal BS, charging money, sending us CGI effects, and perming the women's hair on the International Space Station where it's bouncing around, and bubbles rising up into spacewalks, and all this insanity that they've got. Here's why I don't think that you're really going to get up into outer space. And the argument is, oh, well, rockets work in space because you only have to have thrust from one side. You don't have to push against anything in a vacuum. And I think that's insane. I think that's insane. I believe you have to have something to push against in order for you to, from both sides, in order for you to propel yourself through any medium. It would be like me standing in a bucket and trying to lift myself up. Well, I'm pulling, aren't I? Well, there's force coming up on my feet, isn't there? You're not going to go anywhere. Not unless you have some sort of a fulcrum, something to pull against. Throw the rope up over a bar overhead and pull on the rope, and you could conceivably lift yourself up in the bucket. But you're not going to do it without an external force to pull against. You get what I'm saying. So, let me nail this down a little more. Okay, you get a boat, you put it in the water. Water's got a lot of resistance compared to air, but you've got, say, a propeller this big, and it pushes you along through that dense water just fine. Well, you get the boat out of the water, and you pull that little propeller off, and you go stick it on the front of an airplane about the same size as that boat, and you rev that engine just as hard as you want, and that plane's not going to take off because you don't have a big enough propeller to push the thinner air, which has less resistance than the water. So now you get a big propeller and you stick it on there. Well, Well, let's see how high that'll go. Well, you're limited, even if you got a pressurized cabin, you're limited as to how high you can go in a propeller plane by the density of the air. You get just so high, the air's not dense enough for that propeller to pull that plane along anymore. So then you have, to get any higher, you have to have a jet engine. And that'll get you up there to where the air is really thin. You got enough oxygen barely for your flame for the combustion, but you still have to push against that air. The wings still have to have a fulcrum to steer this way or that. Then you get into outer space. So, oh, well, you don't have any resistance. Well, then you're not going anywhere. There's no rocket, no propeller, no anything big enough to counteract the absolute vacuum of space. And even if you could actually push something, where's your fulcrum? Where's your fulcrum to steer this way or that? You're going to do like the movie Gravity, and it's like you can just push yourself along with a can of hairspray, and you go floating this way, and you go pushing. What are you pushing against? You're pushing against nothing. It's insane. It's insane. Show me a picture of a satellite. People say, well, I got satellite TV. Okay. I have a antenna nailed to a post out here in my front yard. It picks up 34 channels. It's not pointing straight up at a satellite. I don't need satellite for that. You ever seen a satellite dish for TV pointed straight up? I can't even find a picture of one pointed straight up. I Googled it, looked for images of them. I could not find one anywhere pointed straight up. Why is it hard to believe that this is a ground-based thing? We've had ground-based television as long as I've been alive. We've got ground-based cell phone systems. Why do we think GPS on our telephones and our little TomToms and our Garmins and all that stuff? Why do we think that has to be in outer space? How hard is it going to be to triangulate from stuff hundreds of miles away when you've got cell towers everywhere? Why not use the cell towers? Ground-based triangulation of finding a specific point where an object has been used since the 40s. So why do we need satellites for that? If there are satellites up there pumping communication everywhere, then why are we making millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of miles of fiber optic cable every single day and have been for 17, 18 years? Why are we running fiber optics under the ocean to connect all these countries if we've got satellites that we can just bounce the information off of? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make a bit of sense. So, I think space is fake. I don't think we got anything going on there at all, period. So that gets me to, okay, why do I think it's a dome? Why do I think there's a cover? Other than that the Bible seems to say there's a firmament, which is a solid covering of sorts. Some disagree with the interpretation of that, but the book of Job says, and this is after the flood, that there's still water above the firmament. So, again, I'm a bit prejudiced there, but how are we going to keep our atmosphere from equalizing? We don't have gravity. How are we going to keep that from equalizing with this absolute vacuum? You tell me, because I don't have any answers. I can't get past that. I can't get past that one. So if you got an answer for that, hey, I'm all ears. And anyway, think about that for a little bit. And I'm going to try and kick out another video soon. And y'all have a wonderful night. Talk to you real soon.